Hello everyone, today I'm bringing you a video about the deleted scenes and unused material from the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, detailing what these scenes might have been like, as they didn't make it into the final script, some of them being quite curious and strange. Let's get started.
Hi!
I wanted to record a message for you to help you get...
Originally, YouTuber Markiplier was meant to make a cameo as Bob, the security guard seen during the cold open of the movie. The role would have served as a fun Easter egg for fans, given Markiplier's strong influence on the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise through his popular videos, which helped bring mainstream attention to the games. However, due to scheduling conflicts and his commitment to directing and starring in his own film project called Iron Lung, he ultimately wasn't able to participate. Despite the missed opportunity, fans continue to speculate about how his appearance might have contributed to the movie and hope to see him in the second installment.
But one thing I wanted to talk about, other than all the other things, and I'll probably talk about it in more detail towards the end of the stream, but I did want to talk about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I know I've been very ambiguous about it. I know I've been very mysterious about it. And it's kind of been a thing where I was hoping that there would have been, like, some schedules aligning, but I did want to say, straight up, without any qualification, I am not going to be in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Warmer.
Revealed by Kat Connor Sterling on X, her character Maxine was originally supposed to have a dog named Bonesy. Bonesy can actually be seen in the movie for a few seconds inside the truck, right as Jeff opens the garage door. It was also revealed that Max was meant to have more screen time than she did in the final cut. According to Kat Connor Sterling on TikTok, there was originally supposed to be a reason why her character got out of her vehicle. It was explained that Max followed the ghost of Freddy because she simply wanted to make sure the child was okay. However, that line of dialogue was ultimately cut from the final version. In one of the original drafts for the film, Maxine wasn't meant to be chomped in half by Freddy but was rather going to die in a pool of blue paint that got spilled on her. Originally, Afton was never meant to say his iconic, "I always come back" line, and the spring locks were never even meant to appear in the movie. In the earlier version of the script, the scene played out quite differently. Instead of the spring lock failure, Afton would have been physically overpowered and pinned down, leaving him vulnerable. At that moment, the animatronic Cupcake would enter directly into his spring Bonnie costume, attacking him from the inside. Additionally, Bonnie was supposed to have a more active role in the confrontation. At one point, he would swing his guitar and strike Afton in the face, adding further brutality to the children's spirits' revenge on their perpetrator. These elements were ultimately changed during production, likely in favor of a more iconic and lore-accurate ending that would resonate more with fans of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise.
I said read the
In the post-credits scene, when the cabbie is jump-scared by the Balloon Boy figurine, he was originally meant to yell, "What the fuck?" This line was intended to add a final burst of humor and surprise, capping off the film with a classic horror comedy beat. However, the line was ultimately removed or replaced, likely to maintain the film's PG-13 rating or to avoid overly strong language in what was otherwise a more family-friendly production. Originally, Hank's ending was planned to be much more graphic and bloody. In this version, Bonnie would have grabbed Hank by the neck, lifting him off the ground in a display of overwhelming strength. Then, in a brutal moment, Bonnie would impale Hank using the neck of his guitar, turning the instrument into a weapon. This version of the scene was meant to emphasize Bonnie's violent side and add a darker tone to the animatronic's actions. However, the concept was ultimately scrapped, likely due to the aforementioned need to maintain the PG-13 rating. Instead of Afton getting Mike Schmidt's attention from within the darkness of the entrance, an earlier version of the scene had Garrett running out from the entrance first, with Afton following closely behind. This would have added emotional weight to the lead-up to the final confrontation. Afton's presence right behind Garrett would have emphasized the predator-prey dynamic, visually connecting the villain to the trauma he inflicted on Mike. This alternate version of the scene may have been intended to strengthen the emotional payoff of Mike finally facing the man responsible for his brother's disappearance, but it was ultimately reworked in favor of a more suspenseful reveal of the yellow rabbit emerging from the shadow. The concept art was a fundamental part of the creative process, as it allowed the team to preview the appearance and essence of the animatronics before they were physically built. For the main band, the official models from the games were used as direct references, ensuring a level of fidelity that preserved the iconic look of the animatronic mascots. Based on these digital designs, small-scale physical maquettes were also created, serving as practical guides for the teams responsible for building the full-sized animatronics. These maquettes not only helped to better visualize proportions but were also key in planning mechanical and movement details. One of the most peculiar concept art is that of the yellow rabbit. Unlike the final version in the film, where Afton is clearly shown inside the suit, the earlier concept art presented a more disturbing vision, with exposed flesh protruding through the metallic components and the suit, directly evoking Springtrap's aesthetic. Finally, the design of Bella also underwent slight adjustments during the transition from the initial concept to the full-sized version. These changes were simplified as much as possible during production, as the character was only intended to appear as an Easter egg in the film.